What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about weird British culture facts. You hear that, Britain? You're weird. We got weird facts about you today to learn all about. I'm actually very excited about this. Being weird, let's be honest, is a good thing. Who just wants to be normal, you know? And honestly, these are only weird to people like me who have grown up outside of Britain. That's actually one reason I am really excited for this video in particular. It's from the point of view of this woman who has spent the last 10 years of her life living in Britain and started as somebody who did not grow up in Britain. So honestly, I feel like that's maybe the ideal point of view to travel to Britain, and then everything that is different about British culture really stands out to foreigners, you know? Whereas if you've grown up there in Britain your entire life, all the weird, cool, little strange stuff is just normal. You wouldn't even know what you're doing is weird. Anyway, now that I've said weird enough times, I'm actually quite excited, so let us begin.
Over the past decade, I have amassed quite a long list of things that I find strange about the UK.
Yeah.
And today, I want to share some of them with you. The sentence, "you are right," is something you will hear all the time here.
You all right? I mean, my first instinct is to be like, if you said you all right, well, I don't know exactly how you're supposed to say this, like what kind of cadence you're supposed to have, but in America, if you said you all right to someone, it'd almost be like an insult or something, because you're kind of implying they're not all right. And this is all only because this is not an expression we really say. We would say, how's it going, or how are you doing, or even, are you doing all right? But when I hear this, immediately it's like someone coming up to me and being like, you all right? You all right, or something? Like, you know, kind of like that, just because we don't do this. But I think in Britain, is this more of just like a greeting or something?
Here in the UK. And my trouble with that sentence when I first moved here was that I thought it was a genuine question. Silly me. I thought people were asking me whether I was or was not okay.
Right.
And these are some of the emotions it stirred up within me. Number one, confusion.
Right.
Do I look like I am physically or mentally not okay?
Exactly. When you grow up somewhere like America, where we don't say this, it immediately makes you defensive. Like, what? Do I not look all right? Like, is there something on my head? Like, so you're wondering, are they saying, are you not all right? It's just funny. It's the slightest bit different. You are right.
Number two, fear. Why are strangers going out of their way to ask me this? Are they being nice, or are they very concerned either for themselves or for me?
Right.
And number three,
Right.
when I do go on to answer that question, why are they no longer listening? Well,
so this is like in America when you say, how's it going? Or how you been? And you're not actually asking them to answer with an essay or something. You're actually really expecting people to be like, fine, good, and then done. This is the same way where you say, you all right? You're expecting like a very, very, very short, yeah, I'm good, or something like that.
if you've ever faced this dilemma, here is the solution. When asked, "you are right," by a British person, you just say it back, okay? This is because the question, "you are right," actually has nothing to do with you. It's just a form of greeting, similar to...
You say it back? I didn't know that. You can say it back as an answer. That's kind of fun. Kind of convenient. You say, I didn't really think it'd be like that, because someone says, you all right? And you say, you all right? It's like you're responding with a question. I've actually never heard of that.
to the American, "what's up?"
What? I like this clip. What's up? That is a perfect example. Perfect comparison. Someone says, what's up? I don't know if I'd say what's up, but that's definitely an acceptable answer. Really breaking down the nitty-gritty technicalities of these slang greetings, aren't we?
Point number 2 is about bathrooms, and I frankly
Okay.
don't even know where to begin with this one. The British have
Okay.
managed to conquer most of the known world, yet they have somehow not managed to conquer the concept of taps that don't make you feel like you're in purgatory. I mean, it stings, it burns.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is this? This I have heard about. Well, I've heard about like the older taps where there's like two taps, hot and cold. Whereas actually, is she saying these are just normal taps with dials? But in Britain, like if you turn on the hot, it's like burning your face off, and the cold is freezing?
It's uncomfortable. And for what? Why? We have invented taps that fulfill all these criteria, yet somehow you are not installing them. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter. But don't worry, we're not done with bathrooms because there are more quirks. Number
Okay.
2, let me take a breather because this one doesn't get me so riled up. But number 2, why are there no plug sockets in your bathroom? What if I want to try?
Oh, really? None? But there's. What about your blow dryer, hair dryer? You gotta plug that in. I don't know what else you'd have to plug in, actually. Your phone charger? How are you getting by without charging your phone in the bathroom, for God's sake? It's madness! No. But, I guess this is a safety thing or something? No plugs in the bathroom.
Charge my electric toothbrush. I
Electric toothbrush, right?
know I'm a modern woman. What can I do? What if you're a guy and you're trying to use clippers and you want to plug them in?
Yeah.
Happens
Yeah. What if I need my clippers?
then. Silly. And number 3, and
Huh, that is. I didn't realize there were no electric outlets in British bathrooms. Like, is this just a safety thing? Because honestly, at a certain point, it feels like that's a little too far. Like, at some point, you gotta just trust that people can survive in their households with plugs in the bathrooms, right? Or is there been so many, like, tragedies involving plugs in bathrooms? Like, it just feels a bit extreme to me.
this is going to be my last point on the bathrooms, but my blood pressure is rising again because I'm about to talk about the monstrosity that is carpets in bathrooms. I'm talking.
Carpets in bathrooms. I, my first instinct is to be uncomfortable, because in the bathroom, maybe Americans are just disgusting, filthy animals in the bathroom or something. Splashing water everywhere, getting it all. I'd be worried about staining the carpet. That's the first thing I think of. Dripping toothpaste onto it. But when I think deeply about it, maybe like I'm just being a bit of a slob or something. And I don't know. The carpet would feel fantastic on your bare feet, so there's that.
Thick, fluffy carpets in that one room that is full of steam and liquid and
Yeah.
odors and just horribleness.
Yeah.
Why would you want to have a fabric in there of any sort, really? But a fabric.
Yeah. Like as an American, I don't think I can remember a single time I've ever been in a bathroom that was carpeted. It'd just be a bit bizarre to me.
That is permanently attached to the floor that I have no idea how you clean. Do you? Does anyone want to argue with me about this, by the way? Because if you do, and if you have strong
I like that her and me seem to be on the same side for a lot of this stuff. It's nice. Got some backup.
opinions about the benefits of having carpets in bathrooms, I would absolutely love to hear them. Our next point is
Okay.
queuing, and I am
Queuing. I didn't even know what queuing. I remembered hearing this word on a different video about British culture, and I was like, queuing. What is queuing? What is this British thing? It's waiting in line. Like in America, you just say like waiting in line. Queuing sounds much nicer, a bit fancier, to be perfectly honest.
completely on the British side here. I think queues are fantastic. I love
Yeah.
how orderly and organized they are. I don't love maybe how plentiful they are, but frankly, at this point, I've
Why are queues so common? Is it just like a solution for everything? Like in the British grocery stores, like there's a queue to like pick out the oranges or something? Is there just more opportunities for forming lines than I realize? Because, I mean, Americans are hopeless at waiting in line anyway, so I'm not holding out too much hope for this one, but I don't know, I've never seen a British a natural British cue in action, forming and going through its natural cue, lifeline, lifestyle, life cycle, natural cueing lifestyle, the birth and death of a cue. I'd love to see it. Sounds like a nature documentary or something.
I've been here long enough that if I see a queue, I just go stand at it. Do I know what awaits on the other end of it? No, and I don't need to. Number 4, we've got tutting. And this can
Tutting.
often go hand in hand with queuing.
Tutting. I do not know what tutting is. I have never heard this word in my life. Tutting. What is the tutting going on in Britain?
Especially if there is somebody who is breaking the unspoken rules of the system. And what will happen, instead of somebody telling you off or saying,
I don't think she's going to actually explain. I got to look it up. Tutting? Tutting. What is the meaning of this word? Tutting is a style of dance. Is it? What if I do? Is that what we're talking about? What does tutted mean? Mild reprimand, disapproval? Like reprimanding someone? Yelling at someone? Like is it punishing them or?
oh, you're doing it wrong, go to the back, whatever. They'll go. Quite often they won't even make eye contact because for a British person, that could be a little too confrontational. Another great example.
Are we talking about that sound she's making? Or is tutting telling someone like off disapproval? Or is it the sound of going or like that? Or I'm a little confused still.
That comes to mind here is queuing on escalators. The way escalators work here in the UK is you stand on the right hand side and you're stationary. On the left hand side, however, you're supposed to leave space so people can walk if they're in a rush.
I mean, this is true in America as well. It's just that 99% of people don't really care. But I have found, when I run into an escalator, a surprising number of Americans do sort of follow this rule of trying to kind of be on a side so you can at least get by if you have to. You might have to weave in and out a little bit. It's not going to be this perfect everyone on the right thing, but for America, it's not too bad.
If somebody were to break the system, as people, especially tourists, often do, tutting would probably be expected. And I have myself tutted at tourists. And
What?
It was incredible because it made me feel like I was finally being accepted by my adoptive brethren.
Oh, she got to tut. Is tutting? Sounds like tutting is making this like sound to let people know that you're judging them or disapproving of their behavior. So you're going like, or something like that? Or do you have to like kind of say something to them as well? I kind of get it, I think. Not totally sure.
I'm going to kick off number 5 with a fun little number. Did you know that here in the
Tea.
UK, people drink more than 150 million cups of tea every single day? Now,
I literally just did a reaction to why tea is so popular in Britain. So I did know that, and I do know a little bit more about the tea and why it is so popular. It is still such a fun thing that like an entire culture of people are associated with a drink.
to you, the term tea might mean many things. You might think of green tea, you might think of black tea, you might think
Yeah.
of herbal tea. But here in the UK, it really only means one thing, and that's English breakfast tea with milk.
Thank you. Thank you. I have been wondering for so long, and no one ever just plainly says it. I was like, what? And I also felt like it had been going on so long, I couldn't really speak up and ask anymore. Like one of those situations where you just got to play along. But I've always just wondered, what kind of tea are all the Brits drinking? What kind? Just tell me. It seems like everyone thought it was so obvious that it wasn't worth mentioning. But it's,
Here in the UK, it really only means one thing, and that's English breakfast tea.
English breakfast tea. Is that a flavor? Is that a brand? Is it sold in a special store? I still have questions, but I'm so glad she decided to say that.
With milk. And there are 4 main brands that everyone seems to buy, and that's PG Tips, Twinings, Tetley, and
Oh,
the other one.
This is fantastic. I have literally been wondering this level of detail. What flavor and what brands? So this is actually good stuff. English breakfast. Now that she says that flavor, I'm pretty sure you can get English breakfast. I'm not sure though. Man, all I ever see is like Earl Grey tea and stuff like that.
Yorkshire tea.
Okay.
And I don't think I've ever been to a British household that didn't have one of these on their shelf. And I think that's beautiful. I like the certainty of knowing what to expect. Sandwiches are just a huge thing in this
Sandwiches. Brits love sandwiches. You heard it here first.
country. Most big supermarkets in the UK, like Tesco, Asda, or Sainsbury's, have something called a meal deal, where for somewhere in between £3 and £4, you can get a sandwich, a snack, and a drink.
Oh, wow, that's nice. We'd call that like a combo or something here, or, just a deal. Sandwich, what else
And
was it?
£4, you can get a sandwich, a snack, and a drink.
Sandwich, snack, and drink for your lunch. That's cool. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, you don't really have that in America. Certainly not from like a random grocery store. I mean, maybe here and there there'd be a deal or something, but the fact that this is common, that just sounds nice. Sounds really nice, huh? I mean, in America, people are a little bit skeptical of sandwiches made at grocery stores. That's usually fine. Maybe not from Walmart, and certainly not from gas stations. Ugh.
Which, frankly, is a very good deal, especially if you're going out for a quick lunch or whatever. And the selection is astounding. It's amazing. At Christmas time, you will have like stuffing sandwiches with turkey.
Wait, what? So, Brits take sandwiches like to another level. That's what I'm kind of hearing here.
I think that's the only time of year when you have special sandwiches. But truly, it is incredible, and most people have favorites, and when they go to buy a meal deal, they will try to get the most value out of it that they possibly can. There is a guy
This is so specific. This is great.
by the name of Max Fosh here on YouTube who does something called ranking people's meal deals, and I absolutely love watching them. Point number 7, let's make the so logical
meal deals. Meal deals from grocery stores. Who knew? Wow, not me. Social classes. Oh, okay.
leap from the topic of sandwiches to social class. Now, meal deals can actually be a pretty good predictor of somebody's social standing and background, but an even better predictor is their accent. Here in the UK, it is truly incredible. You can pinpoint where somebody is from or where they were born to the street sometimes. If you've
What? Like, I mean, there's accents in the United States, of course, usually associated with a specific state in the United States, like a Texas accent, or a Mississippi accent, or a Minnesota accent, or a New York accent, or a Chicago accent. Yeah, you can pinpoint it to certain cities in the United States, but a certain street and a certain social class, just based on how you speak, that is unique.
Ever heard of George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion or My Fair Lady, you already know what I'm talking about. The way a person speaks, the things they say here written can be used as a pretty reliable predictor of social class, and it
So what are we saying by social class here, even? Like, what are we talking about? Like, lower class, middle class, upper class? Like, financial status? Kind of social class? Or am I missing something here?
It's something that is still at the forefront of people's minds today. It's something that people are very aware of. And I know this is the case in every country. People, wonder what another person's background is, but it is just so obvious in many ways here. And there are so many terms for people who belong to different social classes. A person from the upper class might be called posh, very
Posh. Yeah, I've heard of the posh. I've heard of posh. Yeah, I thought that meant like fancy or upper class, apparently.
common word. It might be called a toff or a sloan, which is
Toff or Sloan? Oh, this is good. This is good stuff.
It's a term derived from Sloane Square in, I think it's in Chelsea, where a lot of rich people live. And
Toff, Sloan. Oh man, it'd be fun to use these words.
then on the opposite side of the spectrum, some working class people might be described as chavs, although this is a special specific subset.
Chavs. Chavs, okay. Although this is a specific lower class?
Working class people might be described as chavs, although this is a
Not lower class, working class. Excuse me.
special specific subsection of that bigger group, or they might be called scallies. There's a lot of words.
Scallies. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I really haven't learned too much about all this. That's awful fascinating, though.
But many of them are derogatory, so we're gonna move
Oh,
on to
yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about. Like, we're talking about social classes of people here based on wealth and stuff, so I could see where it could get a bit derogatory, as she's saying.
When I first moved here, I thought there was breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And
British meals. British meals. So we're saying British meals extend beyond breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I mean, I did just watch a whole video on British tea, so I know there's an afternoon tea. Sometimes there's even another tea, like in the evening, right?
it turns out I was completely wrong because here in the UK, those names are completely open to interpretation. For
So we're saying the meaning of breakfast, lunch, and dinner could even be different.
example, you can get school dinner, which is actually lunch because you eat it at lunchtime. There's
What?
also the word supper and the word tea, both of which
Tea. Tea, I know. Tea time. Afternoon tea. Supper. Supper is randomly used in some places around the United States. It's not something I ever used growing up or was taught, but supper, the word, certainly exists in America.
can be used to describe dinner. And frankly, I haven't fully figured out the distinction between these. It really depends on where you come from. So in the north of the country, people might use different words to people in the south, and different
Wow.
families and different social classes might use different words as well. So
Wow. I mean, man, the diversity of like of what terms and accent and even the words and the meaning of words within Britain, the differences that you can find are quite astounding to me.
it is truly a minefield. In number 9, we
Huh, okay. I think, this video is pretty long. We're only about halfway through. So I think I'm actually going to stop here and finish this in part 2, which will come out after this video. So if you've enjoyed this video so far and you're interested in maybe part 2, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're just liking this sort of video, me reacting to Britain and British culture and stuff about Britain that I've just never learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.